There is just so much going on for half a day. Normally you don't see this much volume, this much movement. I spoke to one trader before that just told me there's no incentive to buy right now. So like you mentioned, you saw the Dow down 653 points. A lot of that has to do with the fact that Mnuchin called these bank CEOs on Sunday, making sure that they had enough liquidity in case something went bad in 2019. And then you also have President Trump taking to Twitter to call out the Fed again, saying it's the only problem in the economy. And so some of these traders are saying, why is he doing that? That's making the whole situation worse. So you did see the Dow close down. You're seeing the NASDAQ in bear market territory, which means it came off 20% from its most recent high. You're also seeing the S&P 500 also down 65 points. Some of the biggest stock laggards today, stock losers, whatever you want to call them, Nike being one of them. The reason being we're seeing Nike shares down is that on Friday they did release their earnings. Really strong quarter, saw sales climb higher. And so often when you see a big uptick in a stock, it starts to just teeter off a little bit. So that's what we're seeing today. Also some stories about LeBron James and his Instagram account, but I don't think that has anything to do with the movement in the stock. Other movers are Procter & Gamble, Johnson & Johnson. We're also seeing financial stocks down. So some of the big banks like Goldman Sachs. And it's just funny, the timing, because that comes right after Steve Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary, called these banks to make sure that they were going to be okay going into 2019. Nonetheless, there was a sell-off in the financial sector. And so what is contributing to some of this market mayhem? There's not one single factor. Let's go through some of the major factors. They didn't all fit on the board, but some of them starting with the fact that the Federal Reserve increased interest rates and is furthering tightening. So they're not adding as much money into the market. And so that's making it a little bit difficult for, let's say, the sale of bonds going forward. Then you have this constant fear of a global slowdown across the board, and that's weighing heavily on the price of oil, which, by the way, is down below $46 US a barrel. Means it's good news for gasoline, for those that are taking long trips over the holidays, because gas right now is on average of $2.33 a gallon. But nonetheless, that can make it very difficult for a lot of these American companies. So I'm going to throw it back to you. And, of course, the shutdown, too, because that adds to it, political instability.
All right. Christina, thank you very much. Port's Nevelis. Got it right.
Yeah,
Thank you, Christina.